Have you ever wondered what life would be like without the internet? Let's take a journey back in time, to a world where the internet was a concept yet to be conceived. It was an era where knowledge and information were treasured commodities, not instantly accessible with a few taps on a screen, but sought out with dedication and patience. Imagine a world where libraries were the epicenters of knowledge, where every book held a universe of information. These grand repositories of wisdom were not just buildings but gateways to different worlds. People would spend hours, even days, lost in the labyrinth of books, unearthing knowledge, one page at a time. Newspapers and magazines were the heralds of the day. They were the beacons of information that linked communities and brought the world closer together. People eagerly waited for their daily or weekly editions, savoring the crisp pages filled with news from around the globe, local happenings, and thought-provoking editorials. Communication was a different affair entirely. The landline was the lifeline that connected households. A phone call was a special event, a time to catch up with distant relatives or friends. The joy of hearing a loved one's voice after days or weeks was a cherished moment, a stark contrast to today's instant messaging and video calls. And let's not forget the importance of physical mail. The postman was a welcomed sight, bringing letters, packages, and news from afar. The anticipation of opening a letter, the feel of the paper, the smell of the ink, these were experiences that email can't replicate. Every piece of information, every communication required time, effort, and a sense of anticipation. It was a slower pace of life, a time when waiting was part of the process, not an inconvenience to be avoided. Yet, despite the slower pace, life was rich, vibrant, and full of personal connections. The physicality of information and communication gave them a certain charm, a human touch that's often missing in our digital world. Imagine if we had continued on this trajectory, with no internet to speed up and simplify our lives. It's a thought-provoking concept, isn't it? But let's continue this journey and delve deeper into a world without the internet. Without the internet, how would our ways of communication have evolved? This might seem like a daunting question, but let's dive in and explore some possibilities. It's likely that telecommunication systems would have taken center stage in our world without the internet. Imagine a world with more advanced landlines, perhaps even video phones. Remember those sci-fi movies from the 60s which showcased video calls through television screens? That could have been our reality. Telecommunication giants might have invested heavily in developing advanced technology to support seamless long-distance communication. The evolution of communication would have depended a lot more on hardware advancement. We might have seen phones with screens for video calls, more compact and efficient fax machines, and advanced radio systems for instant news updates. The world of communication would have turned into a playground for hardware engineers and scientists, trying to push the boundaries of what's possible. Picture the impact of this on our daily lives and relationships. The lack of instant messaging would mean no more quick texts or emojis. Instead, we'd rely on voice messages or video calls for instant communication. The value of a phone call would be much greater in this world, making every conversation more meaningful. Imagine the dynamics of long-distance relationships. Without the ease of instant messaging, people would have to invest more time in each conversation, possibly leading to deeper connections. The concept of online friends would be non-existent, and friendships would form through face-to-face interactions or voice conversations. In professional settings, communication would be more formal. Emails, a form of instant communication, would be replaced by faxes or phone calls. This could lead to a slower pace of work, but on the flip side, it could also mean less miscommunication, as verbal conversations leave less room for misinterpretation. Without the internet, the world of communication would have been more tactile and personal. It would have required more effort, more thought, and more patience. We would have been more present in our conversations, more mindful of our words, and perhaps more connected despite the distance. Our way of connecting with people would have been so different, wouldn't it? How would commerce and trade have evolved without the internet? Let's delve into this intriguing question. In a world without the internet, the global marketplace would have a significantly different landscape. The convenience of online shopping, instantaneous digital transactions, and global e-commerce would be non-existent. Instead, physical catalogs would still be a prime tool for businesses. These tangible directories filled with product descriptions and images would be the linchpin of commerce. They would be meticulously designed, printed, and distributed to businesses and consumers alike. The telephone, already a revolutionary invention of the 19th century, would hold even more significance. Orders would be placed through long, sometimes international phone calls. Customer service would be a voice on the other end of the line, ready to assist. Fax machines too would be indispensable. They would be the fastest way to send and receive documents across great distances, contracts, invoices, orders. They would all whir through fax machines connecting businesses around the globe. Now let's ponder on the banking sector. Without the internet, we would see an increase in the number of physical bank branches. The need for face-to-face transactions would necessitate this growth. However, this doesn't mean technology would be absent. In fact, we could imagine a world with more advanced ATM machines. These machines might not only dispense cash, but could also accept deposits, print statements, and perhaps even offer video conferencing with bank personnel for more complex transactions. In essence, the absence of the internet would not halt progress. It would merely redirect it. Commerce and trade would continue to evolve, albeit at a slower pace. The trajectory would be different, but not necessarily backward. It would involve more human interaction, more physical elements, and more tangible experiences. In this alternative reality, the rhythm of commerce would be dictated by the turn of catalog pages, the ring of telephones, the hum of fax machines, and the chatter in bank branches. Trade and commerce would have followed a slower, but probably more personalized path. Without online resources and ebooks, how would information sharing and learning have evolved? In a world without the internet, libraries would retain an even more crucial role as hubs of knowledge and learning. These aren't just the quiet, dusty places of old, filled with towering stacks of books and stern librarians. Imagine instead libraries that have evolved into technologically advanced centers of information, perhaps with systems surpassing our current digital databases in their sophistication and efficiency. These libraries could house vast collections of literature, scientific research, historical records, and more, all meticulously catalogued and cross-referenced. The physicality of books could be complemented by advanced technologies like high-speed printing or even holographic displays for visualizing complex information. And librarians, they would be more akin to information scientists, guiding patrons through this labyrinth of knowledge. In these knowledge hubs, the power of the written word would be at the forefront. Textbooks could be more than just text, incorporating interactive elements and detailed illustrations to help students grasp complex concepts. The emphasis would be on enhancing the tangible, sensory experience of learning. Education might look significantly different too. With no online courses or digital classrooms, there would be a greater emphasis on in-person learning. Teachers would play an even more vital role in guiding students, fostering curiosity, and facilitating discussions. Students would gather in classrooms, libraries, or study halls, learning not just from their teachers, but from each other. Conversations and debates would be the norm, with students pushing each other to think critically and explore new ideas. This could foster a deep sense of community and shared purpose, creating an environment where learning is a collective journey, not a solitary pursuit. In this non-digital world, we might see an even stronger culture of mentorship and apprenticeship. Knowledge would be passed down directly from experts to novices, fostering a deep, hands-on understanding of various fields. Education and learning might have remained a more communal experience, rooted in physical interaction. It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? A world where the pursuit of knowledge is a shared adventure, where the journey of learning is as much about the people you meet and the relationships you build as it is about the facts you learn. So, what can we glean from imagining a world where the internet was never invented? As we journeyed through this thought experiment, we discovered a world that might have been different, yet intriguing in its own way. Communication, for instance, would have been slower, but potentially more personal. Without the instant gratification of emails, text messages, and social media updates, we might have savored the anticipation of handwritten letters and the thrill of face-to-face conversations. The absence of the internet could have fostered a culture of deeper, more meaningful interactions, as we made the effort to stay connected with those who truly mattered to us. Commerce, too, would have charted a different course. A world without the convenience of online shopping might sound daunting, but it could also have ushered in a more tactile and intimate shopping experience. We would have continued to visit physical stores, touching and feeling products before buying them. The local markets would have thrived, fostering stronger community bonds. The absence of global e-commerce might have made the world less interconnected, but it could also have preserved the uniqueness and charm of local businesses. Our approach to education and learning would have been more communal, grounded in libraries and classrooms rather than solitary screen time. The internet has democratized knowledge, but a world without it might have valued the wisdom of elders and experts more. The thrill of discovery in a dusty library book, the joy of lively classroom debates, the satisfaction of mastering a skill through physical practice, all these experiences would have held a different kind of charm. While the internet has undoubtedly made our lives faster and more efficient, it's interesting to ponder a world without it. A world that might have been slower, but perhaps richer, in personal interactions and experiences. In this hyper-connected age, perhaps it's worth taking a moment to disconnect, to savor the slower rhythms of life, and to cherish the richness of our offline experiences.